tell you a story.
Welcome to My Skeptical Sister.
I'm Megan, the sleepy one.
I'm Erin, the believer.
I am so sorry. I was supposed to be over here at 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock came and went, and I was totally 100% zonked out.
I know. I'm sorry I woke you up. If we didn't record tonight, it couldn't be tomorrow. I did trivia.
Yeah, I had baseball tomorrow night. Yeah, I mean, it had to happen tonight, so I had to rally. But I thought, I'll just lay down for a quick minute, watch a few TikToks. No, fatal mistake. Fatal mistake. No laying down.
I called you twice. I text your husband, who then when I went over to finally knock on your door, he was on his phone. I'm like, did you not see the text? I text you.
Suspicious.
So anyway, sorry I woke you up.
Even more suspicious, he thought I'd already gone over.
Yeah, I know. He goes, well, he looked so confused when I was there. And he was like, yeah. I said, is Megan coming over? And he was like, oh, I kind of thought she was already over there. Like, okay. So I stood in the rain for about 30 seconds and I was like,
Erin,
I'm going to walk home. She'll either text me and say not tonight or she'll show up and I'm not going to stand in the rain for it. So,
so sorry. I mean, he's so rude. He didn't invite you in, didn't answer your text messages.
He shut the door in my face. It's cool.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I can't say much. I totally fell asleep on you. Sorry.
That's right. You're both horrible.
I know. We're horrible neighbors. I don't know why you live next to us. But I'm awake. I'm here. I'm rallying. Here we go.
Before we get too far, and not that we're going to talk about the eclipse for a long time again.
Oh, okay, good.
But we're 2 weeks, we're ahead. So people are just now reacting to your eclipse. And basically what they're all saying is you're wrong.
Oh, I know. People have some deep feelings about the eclipse.
I know. There's a train going by, and I don't think we can edit that out. So if y'all can hear that, so sorry.
Real life.
We're not closing that window. It feels nice.
Feels great.
But yeah, everybody agrees with me. It was amazing. And I don't know if you saw this in our Instagram, but
no, I did not.
Best celebrity friend, Marin.
Oh, hi, Marin.
She totally agrees that it's incredible and says that if we're both still around in 40 years, she'll go with me.
Oh, I probably won't be, but Erin would love to come.
I know. Basically, Marin wants to be my best friend in real life.
In 40 years.
And is making plans, like real plans.
40 years away from now.
40 years, that's fine. I don't care. Wants to be my friend.
Listen, I didn't say that you all couldn't enjoy it and love it and have these great, grandiose reactions to the eclipse.
Right. But they're saying that I was right about the birds and the
Oh, yeah, I did hear that. I do think that that's fascinating. I think that that's a little wild, and I would have to see it myself before I believe it.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just kidding. I really am kidding. I believe you all. All of you out there who told me I'm wrong, sometimes I can be, so I do believe it this time.
My gosh, I'm going to take that little sound clip and just put it on a button and play it every time.
Loop?
Yeah, every time you're like, there's no ghosts. I'm going to be like, I'm kidding. I do believe you all.
Sometimes I'm wrong. My husband would need that little clip too.
Oh, girl, I'm not going to give him that. Are you kidding me?
Thanks,
I'm
girl.
on your side.
Yep.
On everything but this.
Hoes before bros, right?
That's right. Sisters before misters.
Oh, that's cute.
So do you want to hear the scariest thing that has happened to me since Kevin's been working day shift?
Yeah.
Turns out that at about 11:15, a lot of nights, not every night,
Okay.
he has a weird snore
Oh.
that when you have one headphone in and you're watching a TikTok,
Okay.
sounds like a child crying from a different room.
Your husband?
Yeah, it's like really faint,
Oh, it's so sad.
but really desperate sounding.
Oh, no.
And I have leapt out of bed on like 3 different nights before I was like, I think it's Kevin. But when I jump out of bed, it like startles him, so he stops.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's literally,
at the same time every night?
yeah, it's like, I'm watching TikTok. So I don't know exactly, but it's like the pattern persists.
Oh.
And when I have one headphone in, I'm still awake. But I was like, the first time I kind of got real still and took my headphone out. And I thought maybe one of my kids said something. And then I waited for a long time, and nothing happened. So I was like, maybe it was in the video I was watching. So I put my headphone back in. And then like almost as soon as I did it, I was like, oh my gosh. I like leapt up out of bed. I ran through the house.
Oh my gosh.
In the dark. It was very scary. Nobody was there. I did that the next night. And I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, oh, I think Kevin is snoring like the sweetest, saddest little
Canadian snore you've ever heard.
It's so sad and pitiful.
Oh.
Oh.
Have you asked him? What is he dreaming about every night at 11:15?
No, I haven't even told him about it. I was like, just don't forget to talk about it on the pod.
Yeah, I love that.
It's so scary.
I love that you haven't even mentioned it to him. But you're like, I'll tell the world, but not him.
Well, he loves to point out that apparently I snore some nights. So I'm like, okay, fine. So do you, and you sound like a little baby. Like a little crying baby.
And I'm not even going to take it up with you.
That's
but
right.
I'm going to tell everybody, including your mother who listens, about your little baby snore.
And my father-in-law. I got a call this weekend, and he said...
No, for some reason, that really embarrasses me.
I know. We talk about things on the show.
Yeah, why is he listening? I don't think that's a good idea.
My mother-in-law was apparently listening, like, out loud in the living room. And he walked past and said, "Is that Erin?"
Oh, my gosh.
She was like, "Yeah, I listened to her podcast." Right when you're talking about, like, "Good job, Melinda. You did a great job," whatever. And he called to say, "I'm just calling to tell you, I had a little bit of hand in it." Like, I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I thought, oh, funny. Also, don't go back and listen. But you know, when you say that, then they're going to go back and listen.
I know. It's like, I want to say, good job, Mark, but I don't really want him to tune in.
Right. Good job. Don't ever go back and listen. Like,
now, also, Mark, this is not because I don't love you equally and whatnot, but I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
No, there are things that we talk about. I don't even know if I feel comfortable with Melinda.
I know. Truly, I don't, but I love her so much. I love them both so much, but I'm like, oh gosh.
Just proceed with caution,
That's
both
right.
of you.
Come on. I mean, listen. No, I can't say it because you're listening. Because they're listening. I'm just saying, when I talk about some things, it's pretty much about their son.
I know.
It's pretty much my only experience here. So I gotta tell you, he is. Wait a minute. He is my only experience now.
Let me clarify.
For the past 17 years. It's him. So I'm just saying.
That got real dicey there for a minute.
And I'm like, pretty much. Not pretty much. Fully. I just meant like, in the current time he is only. But, a little past. It's not much.
Oh, sure. Good save.
Thanks. I feel redeemed.
Oh, okay. Hi, Mark. Hi, Melinda.
Oh, please, just don't tell me you ever listen. Don't ever reference it.
Yeah, that's a great,
And if you stop, that's fine too. That's great. Just
all the way around. Listen or don't listen. We don't really care. Just don't tell us about it.
Oh.
Have you seen Baby Reindeer?
No, but it's on my watch list.
Aaron Taylor.
I've got shows I'm trying to get through.
It is. I'm not saying because you haven't watched your full name. I'm just saying your full name because it is so painful to watch.
Okay.
So just prepare yourself. It's one of those that you feel such anxiety and like, you know how like when you watch someone and you're embarrassed for them?
Yeah.
Or you watch something and you're like, no, why would you do that? There's, you feel those two emotions constantly through the entire show.
Oh, I don't love those two feelings.
And it's a true story.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's, I say yeah. I heard from the friend who told me to watch it that it's a true story.
Okay, well, that's probably legit.
Yeah, it's got to be. She seems like a nice person. Why would she lie to me? That seems a weird thing to do. And I believe it.
Oh,
See,
gosh.
Sometimes I'm not a skeptic. Sometimes I just go with the flow.
Oh, gosh. I heard it's really good. I'm going to watch it. I am currently waiting episode by episode for The Circle because it's back, baby. And I freaking love it so much.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
This season, they have an AI playing.
See, I can't get on board with stuff like that. It's starting to turn.
I know.
The
they
whole
don't
world
know.
is turning.
They know there's one AI in the game, but they don't know who it is. And they're
that's
all
so
like,
creepy.
They all think it's the wrong person. They're like,
my
oh, it's
gosh.
clearly this person. That response was so fake. And then like talking to the AI, like, Max, don't you think that's so fake? And he's like, to the camera. Well, I mean, it's not. It's just a box. But it's like, I predict that if I say, if I make a light joke about this, it will take suspicion off myself. And
That's
then
so weird. Aaron, do you really think
so
it's an AI?
I don't know. I've been in debate about it, but I think it is.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is.
I think it would make it more fun if it was.
It would be, but I think they're lying. I want them to be lying.
It'd be pointless to have a real person back there playing because then it's just a person playing.
They're just pretending to be an AI.
Yeah, but like at one point they're going to goof and that's going to be funny.
Like, how can an AI be so developed. That's what's so scary. That's why I
know,
don't want it
it's
to
scary.
be real.
Yeah.
That an AI can be so advanced that they can now be manipulative.
Yeah, I know.
That is next level creepy.
Well, Michelle Buteau, which is another reason why I love the show, because she's the host. She's that real funny lady. She's got real big hair.
Yeah,
I love her.
yeah.
She is terrified of it. She talks about it every time. And she's like, that's not creepy at all. Like, she's like,
Yeah.
oh, this creepy robot we've got happening here. Like, she talks about it. She doesn't like it.
I'm with her.
Me too. It's horrible, but it's
But
such
it's
a good show.
entertainment, so I support it.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of which,
Oh gosh, here we go.
sorry,
Our podcast.
what's our time? Okay, we've only been talking for 10 minutes. It's fine.
Who cares? Let's just talk about this all night.
I just finished this crazy book. I will. Oh, fart! I feel like I'm gonna have to give
Go ahead.
some of it away.
Just earmuffs
Okay,
to all of
listen.
you readers.
I'm gonna tell you the beginning of it, and then I will tell you to skip ahead if it's something you want to read.
This is so I don't read. So what
Right.
Erin does is she reads, and then but I love listening to stories.
Yeah.
And I love listening to Erin's stories. So she'll read a good book, and then she will sit on the porch, and she'll sit there and tell me the entire book, start to finish.
Oh my gosh, that's my next podcast. I'll just have a go to sleep podcast where it's called
Spoil
Erin.
the whole
Erin
book.
ruins books.
You're really good at telling them, so I feel like people would listen.
Okay, so it's called The Last One.
I've read it.
Shut up.
Kidding,
No, you
I'm
haven't.
kidding.
It's about this woman who's like in her early 50s, and she's got her first long-term boyfriend. Like, she's been really taking care of her family her whole life.
Get
and,
it, girl.
Yeah, and he convinces her to go on this cruise. And she's like, oh, like the whole time you're hearing from her, and she's like, I'm really trying to do this for him, but I'm going to try to enjoy myself. But
That never works.
yeah, she is not, this is not her vibe, but she's really trying, and he trying to be adventurous because he likes to travel. And they have a great first night, and then she wakes up the next morning and he's gone. And she's like,
Okay.
oh, that's weird. I wonder if he went on to breakfast without me. Why would he do that? So she walks out like to the hallway and starts going down and realizes that there's nobody. She hasn't passed anybody. And then she gets to the lobby and there's nobody. And there's nobody on this huge cruise ship.
What?
And
Apocalypse.
as the day goes on, she does find by the end of that day, I think, or maybe the next morning, she ends up finding 3 other passengers.
Oh, wow.
And nobody knows what's happened. They've like gone into the mainframe. There's nobody piloting the boat, no captain of the ship. But they can see that there have not been any stops. And it no longer looks like they're going in the right direction from where they were originally planned.
Well, that's super chill.
Right. So they have their first night of like, this is so weird, but let's just get,
Not panic. I feel like the first night's panic.
they're a little panicked, but they're also like, there's got to be a reason for this. Like they all keep saying it. And I'm like, what would be the reason?
Yeah.
What would be the reason?
The rapture. That's the only thing I can think of.
Right. Okay. Now, everybody, I'm going to spoil it. So if you think, wow, this book sounds great, I don't want to listen.
Then
listening.
stop. But I'd like to know what happened.
I'm going to tell you because this is what we got to talk about here. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Is this what tonight's podcast is about?
Welcome to the first episode of Erin Ruin Books.
Tell us if you like it. Could be the first of many. We're switching gears.
Okay. So the next day happens and they're like, all right, now we kind of thought something would get resolved. Somebody would come find us. They moved the chairs to spell SOS as big as they could on the deck so that like a plane could see.
Sure.
And then the power goes out on the bus or on the ship. And they're like, oh my gosh,
When did they get on a bus?
the power's out. What are we going to do? And she's like, well, if the power's out, like, what if the fridges go bad? Like, let me go down to the kitchen and get out everything that we can keep out.
Yeah.
And then when she goes to get the doors open, they're like locked from the inside. So she
What?
can't get to the food supply. And so
Oh,
now
that's
they
a
are
nightmare.
stuck on this ship with no food.
They have to eat each other. That's
One
what you
guy,
have to do.
right? One guy is awful. He's so you
Eat him
hate
first. Eat
Yeah,
him first.
for sure. I mean, he's old, so he probably wouldn't taste as good. But
He's
he's
still seasoned.
yeah, whatever. He's awful though. I wouldn't be sad if they had eaten him. But then at 6:00 that night, so they've gone all day. Like, what is happening? This is the end of the world. And then they hear piano music, so they go to the lobby of the ship.
Okay.
And there's like one of those mechanical pianos. So there's power back in just this one room. And then the TV turns on and it's this woman, you can only see her lips. And she's like, welcome, says all their names. You are new contestants on the hit reality show,
What?
blah, blah, blah. And it's this reality show where people are like saying like, do this to him. Like, see what happens here.
No.
And they are stuck on this ship.
And she didn't even want to go on this
She
trip.
didn't even want to go. And they're like, how can you do this? We did not sign consent. And they're like, actually, there was a big package before you got on it. Like it was like a
Oh,
60-page
no.
document. And then one, it was like the crew can do whatever they want.
It's
basically.
a hard way to learn that lesson.
I know. I mean, it's horrible. And then the whole time, like some of them are like, well, because the prize is huge. And like, well, maybe it's worth it. You know, like we've
Right.
made it this long. They're not going to let us die. It's a reality show.
Sure.
But then as it goes on, you're like, oh, they might let you die.
Oh
They
my
might let you die on the show.
gosh. Oh my
So,
gosh.
and they're starving. They're starving the whole book.
Ugh.
It is so anxious. That book.
They need to eat that one guy.
Oh,
That's
my
what I went
gosh.
with the first time. I'm sticking to it.
I know. I kept thinking, I'm like, oh, they're going to make somebody, they're going to eat him on live TV and like see what the reaction is.
Oh.
Anyways, it was a wild book. It was really interesting because I kept thinking, because they kept looking at the camera and saying like, don't watch this anymore. Like we don't want to be on this. We do not consent. We do not want to be on this.
Oh my
Turn off the
gosh.
TV. Like they're keeping us on because you're watching.
I'd turn it off.
I
Would you?
know. I know. That's what I kept thinking. I'm
Circle,
like, surely
the
I
circle.
would stop. Surely I would. But then I'm like,
Would you?
Oh
I
my
don't feel like
gosh.
you would, Erin. I feel like if you were watching that movie, that show, The Circle, and they started telling you that, I think you'd be like, okay, but one more episode.
they're not torturing them on the circle. And they actually like go on to the show.
Okay.
So I feel like I would.
There's consent all around.
Yeah, my humane side would be like, I cannot keep watching
Right.
this. Like if I watch to the point where they're like, well, all right, let's try it. Then I'd be like, okay, well, I'm in now. But then once they were like, no, we do not want to
We
do
don't
this.
give
We're
consent.
starving. I
Oh,
would
that's
stop.
horrible.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, I have so many questions. We're going to have to finish because I know you're not going to tell everybody the end.
No, I won't. I won't tell you.
But you will tell me.
Yeah, I will.
She knows I'll never read it. She does not know that about you. She thinks that you have the gumption. You're going to get up. You're going to go get that book. You're going to read it. You're going to have
Girl.
to talk to her all about it. Yeah.
It's 2024. You can stay on your couch and just put in Libby, the last one, and it'll just
That's a whole lot of things. That's a lot of things you got to
have to
do.
get up. It's right there. You probably have a wait list because I had to wait, but it was so good.
Yeah. Well, I'll just listen to you tell it
Yeah,
to me.
I'll tell you later. I'll
Okay.
ruin it. Don't worry.
Perfect.
All right, now we've talked plenty.
All right.
All right, I'm going to read a story from Birdie tonight.
Oh, I love it. Birdie told us she sent us this, but it must have gone to spam.
I know, and it's been a minute since we've gotten one from Birdie.
Can't wait. I love Birdie stories.
Yeah, so the title is Resending My Grandma Story. Because at movie night, she was like, did y'all ever get that? We said no. So she's like, okay, resending. So if you've done that, please resend it. 'Cause
Yes, please do. And let us know.
yes. So I heard you guys are running low again. Allow me to assist.
Nice.
When I was 17, my grandparents flew up from Jamaica to visit for my graduation. While they were here, my grandfather got sick and had to be hospitalized almost an hour away. Oh, that's awful. That's so scary being in a different country.
It really is.
He was in the hospital for days, and we didn't know when they were going to discharge him. And they had a hard time trying to figure out what was wrong. Oh, so scary. Plus, like insurance. It's like, how much is this going to cost?
Nightmare
I'm in
all
a
the way
different country.
around. Right.
One day, my mom and sister went to the hospital to stay with him while I stayed home with my grandma. I went to go check on her, and she asked me to pray with her. We kneeled down at the bedside, and she prayed. During the prayer, she started to cry, and when she finished, we both said Amen.
How do you know what an amen?
Amen just sounds stupid, but
Unless you say amen at your house.
I say amen when I'm praying, but when I'm reading it, I'm going to say amen. Is that weird?
That is weird. I think I just always say amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I don't know. During the prayer, she started to cry, and when she finished, we both said amen, and she sat on the bed.
Yeah, that sounded great.
Okay.
It's definitely amen.
I came to sit beside her and rubbed her back, telling her it was going to be all right, and that's when she looked up, like she was looking up at someone standing in front of her.
Oh my gosh.
I was sitting right there. There was nothing there. She starts nodding her head and answering yes and mm-hmm. And at one point, she chuckles and looks at me and turns back to look at ... the entity. And again, she says yes. After what seems like forever, because I am frozen in disbelief and fear,
Right.
she wipes her tears and says, okay. She turns to me and says, it's okay, baby. Grandpa's all right. He's coming home. Go wash your face. I was like, okay.
Right.
I really wanted to read that the way she wrote it.
You did great.
And did as I was told because I was too scared to do otherwise. And I wanted to go back and I wanted to get the heck out of Dodge anyway.
Oh, I bet.
I shit you not, Megan, Erin, within 30 minutes, the house phone rang and it was my mother telling us that the doctors gave him the okay
to go home, and they were waiting for the discharge papers. He came home that night. Anywho, that's my story about my grandma's invisible visitor. I will send more in when I get some time. Love you guys. Love the pod. Impatiently waiting for you to start giving us more than one episode a week. Oh my gosh. Yeah, right.
Oh, Birdie, keep waiting.
Because our girl is addicted. TYVM. Thank you very much. Oh,
good
look
job.
At that.
That was quick like fire.
Thank you. That's what they call me. She didn't ever ask her?
That's my whole thing. I was like, I want you to then, like, Birdie now, I feel like I feel like maybe this happened before Birdie has had so many experiences.
Yeah.
I feel like now Birdie would have watched all that and she would have said, oh, I know what she's doing. But 17-year-old Birdie, back then not knowing, I wanted you to ask all those questions.
Yeah, like, okay, but hey, who were you talking to?
Yeah, how do you know?
That's great news, Grandma. Who was that?
Yeah, how do they know?
Oh, my
Was
gosh.
it Grandpa himself?
And what were they saying about me?
What if she and Grandpa are so linked that she can like astro project
Ooh, that's
and like
cool.
slipped into his doctor's office?
Okay, and this was the conversation. He's like, hey, don't worry, I'm on my way home. And she's like, really? Okay, yes, mm-hmm. And he said, look, is she freaking out? And that's when she looked and was like, yeah, she is.
We totally are freaking her out right now. And then he's like, don't even tell her. That'll freak her out even more.
Just tell her to go to her room. Oh, man, your grandparents are sneaky.
He's really a prankster. Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad he was okay. I'm so glad he got to come home. That's not really where I thought the story was going.
Me either.
I really thought it was going to be his spirit that
same.
she saw, and maybe it was.
Yeah.
But you'll never know, Birdie. Why didn't you ask?
Yes. Is it too late now? Could you ask now?
That's a sad question.
Sorry. If it's not, though, call.
If it's not, definitely call her and ask her.
Yeah.
Did she astro project?
Yeah. Come on. Gotta know.
Don't believe in it. Sorry. I think Birdie even just told you she had a friend that just welcomed himself in and astro projected.
Checked around my house.
Came on into Erin's house and apparently has some grass.
I do. She said in a cup, though.
Oh, yeah, that's not in a cup. Yep,
not in a
see,
cup.
it's not real. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that looks a little grass-like. It's not looking great. My poor little calla lily.
oh, that's a calla lily.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody would ever know.
No, it's looking rough.
Real grass.
If I was somebody who didn't know plants at all and just astro projected into a house, I'm like, oh, she's got a bunch of dead grasses. I'm doing everything I can for it.
Strange
I
thing.
cannot save it.
Oh, that's funny. Well, maybe ask your new friend who now knows what your plants look like. Yeah, Birdie at our Patreon night, she just said, yeah, I have a friend. He can astro project. She didn't call it astro projecting, though.
I think she said like astro visit or something.
Something with the word visit, but that he definitely just came in, barged right in and visited Erin's house and was supposed to be coming to my house.
Yeah.
Took a wrong turn. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
okay with it.
You're okay with the fact that he got the wrong turn.
I'm going to hide my address. That's what I know. You don't know my address, Birdie. Oh, goodness.
I don't think the spirit world needs a written down street address.
Yes, according to Birdie, you don't. According to me, yes, you do. No, I think that's a great story. And just what was it? What is Birdie? I want to know what Birdie thinks it was.
Yeah. Like maybe she's got a spirit guide or something.
Like a spirit guide, a guardian angel, astro projection.
Yeah.
I would hellhounds.
Yeah.
I don't know really their range. I feel like they've got a lot going on. Birdie, if you don't know, if you're like just now tuning in and you're like, what in the world? She just took a left turn and went to hellhounds. You're right. And it's a left turn. And I don't know how to explain them, but Birdie does.
Yeah. Go back and listen. Like find the episodes with Birdie because
Yeah,
then
she
you'll
sent
have
some to Erin
listen
once.
all of our episodes. Haha, sneaky, sneaky. But also, I don't know what episodes they are. No, Birdie is definitely our more spiritual person than I am. I don't know any of this stuff.
Definitely spiritually wise, like knows way more terms, way more things
Yeah.
than I've ever even been exposed to. So I learn every time. But this time,
Yeah.
she left a lot to the imagination.
I know. Remember that time Elena just threw out cat balls? Like that was the thing I was supposed to know?
Yeah, like we would know that cat balls.
She's like, they had cat balls. I'm like, well, that's a personal thing.
How did they feel about that? Oh, the visuals.
Yeah.
And then,
Speaking of, I'm trying to teach Clay to a bunch of fifth graders, and
oh gosh,
there's nothing you can do that's not perverted when they're a fifth grade boy. Like I said, okay, and then when you're finished, any clay left over, you can play with it. And they were like,
Oh gosh, just the word play with it.
I was like, good. I said, what's funny? Tell me what's funny about that. And he was like, nothing. I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought, dude.
Yeah, when I used to teach PE and got brand new Nerf balls, the kinds that squished, and they'd all step on them. And I said to a group of 5th grade boys, quit stepping on my balls. Oh, never lived that one down. Nor should I. I mean, come on, I just stepped right into it.
Yeah, I changed my whole project because I started it with 5th grade. We were trying to make clay bobbleheads.
Yeah.
And I was already getting some Snickers because literally you can't.
Rub it into a ball.
No, you're not allowed to say ball. Like I say sphere.
Don't ever say ball.
I say,
Oh,
we're going to
sphere,
make a
that's smart.
sphere of clay. We're going to do this, whatever. It still doesn't matter. And then as soon as I made the little structure for the body.
Oh, gosh.
And then I put the little thing on just to see.
That's
it
the end
looked
of it.
very phallic. And
Oh,
I was
I
like,
bet.
oh, they didn't react, thank goodness. But I was like, oh, I don't think we're going to make this with my other 2
Let's
classes.
put his arms on first.
Yeah, so I decided one class was making bobbleheads and the other 2 classes made koi ponds.
Just change that on the fly.
Really smart pivot.
Thank you.
Too funny. All right. Well, I'm so glad that I reached out to this person. This was back a couple weeks ago. Who knows? This whole recording a week ahead.
I know. I kind of hate it.
I do too. I don't remember what we did the last week.
I know. Do we need to stop doing it? That means we get next week off. Derby week.
Ooh, we might need to do that. It is Derby.
And don't worry, everybody.
You'll
won't
still
have
get an
a week
episode.
off.
Right.
We'll just get caught up to normal. I kind of like it when it's normal.
Yeah, because then I just know what we did. Like, I'm like,
Right.
that eclipse, why are we talking about that tonight? That was like 10 years ago.
I know.
And I wasn't even impressed then. Now
All
we're
right.
still talking about it.
Look, let's take a week off, and then I don't have to edit next week.
On
And then
Derby
we're
week.
into May.
Look at us
Oh
going.
my gosh, we are so professional. Sorry, Rue. She's
so
like
smart.
Was so proud of us that we were a week ahead.
Oh,
I don't love it.
Rue, listen, we are a lot of things. Prepared and quick on our feet. Quick on our feet, yes. But like super prepared and professional, that's not really our forte.
Listen, before you move into this, while we're talking about Rue,
Okay.
if anybody wants to start a podcast, she's got such a beautiful podcast.
Oh, she has such a beautiful voice. Every time I
I know.
tune in, I'm like, oh, Rue, I could listen to you all day.
You learn something new every time you listen, but she has this episode that came out on April 23rd today, and it was all about perfectionism and like how that can hurt your podcast, trying to make it too perfect.
She's speaking directly to us.
It was beautiful. Like the first part almost made me tear up. It was all about like women hold themselves to such a high standard, and that's ridiculous. And we
so
just need
true.
to, I'm like, girl, this is such a good episode.
I love that. I'll have to
I
go
know.
back and listen today. Not today. I can barely stay awake for our own podcast. Who am I lying to? I will listen tomorrow if I can stay awake.
Perfect.
No promises. Also, Rue, I did suggest your podcast to my friend Noelle because she sent me a text. She's like, hey, girl, my friend and I want to start a podcast. Tell me all the things. I'm like, oh, my God.
I don't want to do that
First
at
of
all.
all, I have no idea. Show up and this shit happens. Call my sister.
Find
and then I
an
thought,
Erin.
oh, I can't ask Erin to do one more thing for this podcast by now having to go tell my friend Noelle all about what to do. So then I remembered Rue's podcast. I was like, oh, here. I shared the link. I said, listen to this. Everything you need to know about making a podcast.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you have a friend that wants to know how to make a podcast, there you go.
Or if you want to make one,
Up an octave. Tune in.
that's right. Not even fan favorite yet, but she's always a fan favorite.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, she never has made us a fan favorite. And we talk about her podcast a lot.
She's like, I'm not doing that. It's a dumb segment. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Rue, did you hear her just call your fan favorite segment a dumb
No,
segment?
that's what Rue was saying about our
Oh.
segment. It was kind of rude of Rue, if I'm going to be honest.
I don't feel like that's the way that went down.
okay.
Okay. Well, anyway, about 10 years ago when I was trying to hustle for last
Yeah.
week's episode,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like. And I couldn't find one. You know, I was like, we're
Right.
trying to find a UFO story. Couldn't really find one. Had to go to a news source. That's awful. Listen back, I was like, boy, you really were winging that. But you know what? It worked. It was fine. I
Yeah.
laughed a lot. But anyway, I have a firsthand story. This
Perfect.
guy came through and he was like, yep, you can use my story. Was super excited about it. I'm like, well, I mean, not super excited. He did an exclamation mark. He said, yeah, exclamation point.
Hey, for man talk, that's usually pretty excited.
Yeah, I will
Dad has
take
never
it.
once put an exclamation point on any text he's ever.
Ever.
Not that he doesn't punctuate, because he'll put a period at the end of the most. It'll be like, happy birthday, period.
Period.
Like, thanks.
I'm really good at grammar, not so much at showing my emotion through grammar.
That's right.
Actually, I take it back. The exclamation point was in a response to what I wrote the second time, but he said, I would be absolutely okay with sharing my story if you guys would still want to share it.
Perfect.
So here we go. We're glad you're absolutely okay with it because we are absolutely in need of stories, everybody.
Yes.
Okay. And here's the thing. I don't even remember where I got a story from. Could have been on Facebook. Could have been on Instagram. Who knows how
Maybe
this
Reddit.
little social, could have been social thing works. Okay. This happened again to me tonight, so I wanted to tell the story and see if anyone has had a similar experience or may know some thoughts as to what it may be. The closest guess I have... Oh, I don't know what this is. The closest guess I have... Help me figure out what this is.
Okay.
The closest guess I have is Willow the Wisps.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what that is because of Brave. The movie Brave.
Oh.
They're like a Scottish folklore that they're like little lights that kind of guide your way to where you're supposed to be going.
I'm so glad you watched that movie and remember it.
I know.
Because I
It's
had
great.
no idea. I thought, oh man, I did not.
And then
Maybe
remember
pre-read this good enough.
back when I only had one kid, so I was a really good Pinterest mom, and I had a birthday party for my 3-year-old, and I had little Will of the Wisps
No,
leading
I do
to the
not
back of the
remember this.
party.
And that's so sad. You did all that work, and I have no.
I did. It was great.
No
I also,
memory of this.
I painted 3 little bears.
Hold on. Question.
Yeah.
Did you make a theme from that movie? When
Yeah.
did you really, really like that movie?
Or it was Sophie's favorite movie when she was 3.
Willow?
Will of the Wit. No, not from Willow. Brave.
Oh, you know what movie I'm thinking?
Willow.
Yeah, Willow.
How'd I guess?
I don't know if I was all the way awake. Sorry, for a minute I couldn't remember if like the character was just Willow and the movie was named something else. But yeah, that's what I thought you were telling me. And I'm like, I don't ever remember that being your favorite movie. But okay, from the movie Brave, there are willow wisps.
Yes, they're like little guiding.
Okay, now I get it. So fairies.
Well, they like lead you to your destiny. You're like, if you follow them, it might lead you to your destiny.
Okay, but they're not necessarily like little bitty Tinkerbells. They're just lights.
Yeah, you don't really get a description of what they are.
Okay.
The mom actually says, don't follow the will of the wisp, but then she does.
Ooh.
And then they go on this big adventure. It does turn the mom into a bear who almost doesn't turn back. So maybe you shouldn't follow them.
What kind of acid trip is this movie?
Have you seen Brave? It's
No.
so good.
Have you met me?
It's such a good Disney movie.
That the mom turns into a bear because they follow little lights? I thought you were a good storyteller. I don't know.
Witch. It leads her to a witch, and
Oh.
she's like, my mom is going to make me get married, and I am an independent woman, and I don't
Oh.
want to get married.
Okay, I kind of like this now.
Exactly. You would love it. It's so good.
Love is a strong word.
No,
but,
it's
you
really
know.
good. And it's
Okay.
beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. Anyways, watch it.
Okay.
That'll be our scary summer movie that we watch for
From
Miss
Miss
Detweiler.
Detweiler. We've got so many movies to watch with Miss Detweiler. Okay, here we go. So the first time this happened, I dismissed it partially because I was tired, but this time I'm sure. I was driving on 79 North through West Virginia at night. No one is behind me until suddenly I see a bright whitish yellow light. The first time, it was one alone that I thought was a motorcycle or someone with a broken light. Tonight, it was technically 2, one bright light and one darker. That's called a padiddle.
Yeah. I was about to ask, what does everybody call those?
Tonight, it was technically 2, one bright light and one darker orange that looked like a car light had gone out, but it was too close together to be. Either time, it's as bright as a car or motorcycle light. Can't be like a reflection or something else. The light gets close to my car, either like it's about to pass or it's the next car behind me. Close enough that this couldn't be mistaken as a hill covering the light. It drives for a little and then suddenly goes out. It doesn't pass me. Other cars come up and nothing is behind me. Nothing turns off the road as far as I can tell, because it's not been at parts where any turning is available, and I would think I'd notice the change versus it going out. So he's just going straight.
Uh-huh.
And this light is following. It's not like he's turning and then can't see it anymore. It's
Right.
like, I'm just going straight.
Right.
The first time it went out suddenly. This time it flickered a few times before going out. I call someone I know and drive faster to keep up with the car in front of me. So far, nothing else has happened afterwards. But I'm weirded out that it's happened twice. If anyone needs, I can give more specifics for each event. Yeah, we'd like more.
Yeah.
But I don't want this to be a really long post. Oh, we like them long. So send it in, Mattis. We would love to hear more.
Yeah, for sure. So the first time when they thought it was a padiddle or a motorcycle light, were they freaked out that time too?
I think the first time it was just like, well, that's weird. I can't really tell what it is.
Because it was there and it would just blink out.
And then it would like
suddenly
catch
went
back
away.
up. But then the second time it was like two lights,
But too close
but
together.
way too close together to be headlights. And then like going fast. Like he would speed up and it would go as fast. Like, because I thought, oh, maybe a bicycle.
Yeah. Right. With lights on either side.
But not really. What could it be?
I don't know. But not really.
Well, the willow lights that you talked about, the mom turning into the bear, still the weirdest premise for a movie. But anyway, but so good, apparently.
It's so good.
They were like guiding you to somewhere. These seem to be following him.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, that's really weird.
And why? Like to protect him or to chase him?
Oh, I like the idea of protecting him.
Yeah, well, way better than chasing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it seems like he kind of felt like it was chasing because he sped up. He like enough to, like his instincts were enough to pick up the phone and make sure somebody was on the phone with him. Like,
Yeah.
I need to talk to somebody while this is happening and I need to go faster.
Right. That's
That
really
feels
spooky.
like you're being chased.
Yeah, that's really spooky.
Could it be the tiniest UFOs in the world?
Oh.
They're so cute.
Like, what's that movie?
Flight of the Navigator.
Yes. And then he's just like, just the alien is following him.
it's the cutest.
Oh, he's so cute.
That movie. I'm going to have to watch it again. I watched
we
it not
have
to...
it. We own it. Oh, but on DVD. You don't have DVD.
I don't have a DVD player. But we watched it, I guess it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago with Penelope and Miles.
Yeah.
But now would be a good time to pull it back out. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Every time I watch it, I can just go right back to the first time I watched it. Like that, I just thought it would be the coolest thing in the world to be that boy.
Right. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't it, like, don't years go by, though, and he doesn't realize, it doesn't feel like that to him?
Yeah, well, then well, here we go. Spoiling
another movie.
Spoiler. Now, this one's from the 80s, so I don't know if you all care or not. And I don't know if it's a book or not, but years go past and he stays the same age.
Yeah,
but his
for
whole
him, it's like a
family-
day.
It was awful.
That
And he
part's
goes,
sad.
oh, so sad.
What would you do? No, that's probably a sad question. I'm just thinking, like, if you were a mom and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad. I'm never going to see my son again. And then you get old and then he shows up as an 11-year-old
That's
again.
exactly what happened in this movie.
I know. That's why I'm bringing it up, you big weirdo.
Well, what would I do? I would do what that mom did.
Yeah, then you have to raise him and you're like a grandma's age.
Yeah, but then he got his little alien friends to go
they go
back.
back,
they
don't
go
they?
back in time. They travel back in time, put him right back where he was.
Yep. I forgot that part.
Yeah, that's what I would
Really
do.
spoiled it.
I would get my alien friends to do that.
Right.
I would, if
But
I
be
were the
like,
mom,
Don't
say, you talk
forget
to your
to
alien
invest
friends.
in Google.
Right? Yeah. Here's a little nugget for you for later.
Yeah.
Invest in Apple.
Oh, yeah. Apple's probably smarter than... I mean, they're both good
I
purchases.
mean, I don't think you could go wrong, really, with those two. I don't know.
This
Maybe.
is truly a finance podcast, if nothing else.
Sure, because that's definitely what we're really good at.
I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with either. You just said that so professional.
I think it's true.
I agree.
Listen, when I'm tired, I'm knowledgeable.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know what that is other than...
Good financing. Invest in either one. Why aren't we doing that now? We should go ahead and invest.
Yeah, it could only get
I don't
bigger.
really know how that stuff works because I'm like,
No, I
is
have
it
no
too late? Have we missed the boat?
I think
Because
it's
now
too late.
everybody's doing it, so we don't get as much. I have no idea. I think I have some sort of like MetLife thing. No idea how that shit works.
Yeah. I had to meet with our financial guy last week because Kevin got a new job and I was like, I am here for the free water. Like they kept like, well, Erin, what do you think about this? I'm like, girl, I do not care. I do not know. This is fake money to me. I'm like, is this going to make us rich? He's like, well, it's going to help in your retirement. I'm like, that you're just playing with my money? Like, I don't want to know about it. I don't understand it.
Well, that's kind of how I feel like about this MetLife thing. I did it when I was like brand new teacher, signed up for it. Like little young Megan had no idea what she was doing. Yeah. Guess what? Old Megan has no idea either.
Not a clue.
Not a clue. It just sits there. It takes about $25 out of my paycheck. And then apparently they play the stocks with it.
Yeah, that seems so scary.
It really is stupid. I'm like, that's a lot of my money.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I'd signed that up for that when I like literally 18 years ago. And I think I've made about $5,000. That doesn't seem right either. I feel like if I'd saved that $25 every paycheck.
And also I'm like,
I have a lot more.
Well, if you're just playing, if you're just gambling with my money, let me have some of it.
Yeah, let me go to the boat.
And like, no, you can't touch it until you're old.
You're not allowed to touch it.
What?
Well, screw you. It's
Why
my
can't
money.
I touch it? It's my money.
You know what? We do need to have a financial podcast. On top of our...
Oh my gosh, we're going to be so busy.
We're going to be so rich and busy.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah.
If only I could stay awake for this one. I would start 2 more.
So true.
I can't. So,
man.
Hey, but how about what if I told you that I did have a fan favorite for this week?
I'd be very impressed. It'd be the first time in a month.
What if I told you I hope I have not read this one yet? I really don't think I have.
Good, because I've dropped our spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah, that was too much upkeep. It was like we were actually trying to do something.
I know.
Okay. I'm glad we both agree on that. Okay, so remember how I kept yelling at Samantha in our last episode?
Yeah.
She listened, and it hasn't even come out yet.
Yay! Oh, no. Sorry.
I know. Samantha, well, this is going to come out the week after. Good. Time is not even linear now. It's not even a circle. It's like a figure 8, and we're all over the place.
Right. We don't love it.
I really do like the decision that we're just going to go back.
Good. Me too. I was afraid you really liked me in a week ahead.
Didn't care. The only reason I liked about it was in case one of us got sick or something, we'd be like, oh, good.
Yeah, but Derby, that's excuse.
A great excuse. Who wants to edit on Derby weekend? You're not going to have time.
I know, girl.
Rue doesn't want to, and she doesn't even celebrate Derby.
Right.
But she doesn't want to do that either.
For real.
I'm kidding, Rue. You probably love editing. It's your passion. Okay.
She's like, well, for some.
Yeah. Maybe not for your podcast.
Hot mess.
Hot mess. Hey, but you're telling us not to be perfectionists. So we're taking your advice, and we're not going to be. We're just going to keep messing up left and right on purpose.
Yep. We're nailing that imperfection.
Owning it big time. Okay, so I, of course, long time ago. Oh, really? I'm sorry, Samantha. It wasn't that long ago. It was only April 9th. That's the beginning of this month. But anyway, I asked Samantha to be a fan favorite. Sat there for a little bit until the 20th. And then Samantha came in and said, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm just now seeing this. And then she said, what do I do for this? I'm like, Samantha, do you really... Do you listen to the podcast?
She's a Patreon.
I know. I hope you listen, Samantha. And also, maybe you're like Erin and you just listen right until the fan favorite part.
Oh,
you're like,
yeah, that's right.
I don't need to listen to that part. But anyway, I graciously explained it to Samantha. I really am fussing a lot at her lately. But I explained it to Samantha, and Samantha said, oh, thank you. I love your podcast. Thank you, Samantha. My sister passed away from acute lymphoblastic leukemia, so I donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society every year. So maybe it would be good to bring attention to that charity, ?
Oh my gosh, of course. I'm so sorry for your loss. That's so sad.
Me too. I said absolutely perfect organization to bring awareness to, and I am so sorry about your loss. The loss of someone so close to us is earth-shattering. I'm learning this firsthand. So thank you for the kind words and support. Aww. So we are very, very honored to be able to shout that out, Samantha, and to thank you for how supportive you are. Even if you don't listen to the last episode or last part of the episode, we still love you.
Yeah, and you may have noticed we have not been donating as much lately because we are trying so hard to build us up, but I feel like we will, now that we have the extra money, since we're not going to record next week, we don't need an editor.
There you go.
We will send that over to that because that's absolutely a worthy cause.
Definitely,
not
very
that
important.
The other people were not a worthy cause.
See, here she goes. She's spinning out like me.
Not that the other people were not worthy. I'm just saying this one, that hits close.
It really does.
I'm so sorry. Well.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm not sorry.
No.
It's great, Samantha. We're very glad to bring awareness to that. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing out your loss, because that
For
can be
sure.
hard too.
Yeah. And thanks for being one of our patrons.
Yes. Thank you. Did Samantha come to our movie night?
Not this time, but I think she's going to come next time. She had
Okay,
to miss
get
it.
on in here, Samantha. We'll watch something real scary. Sorry that Babadook was so.
It was really
Ooh,
scary.
It was scary and heavy.
Ashley tried to warn us, and I was like, we're doing it anyways.
Yeah, Ashley, you need to be real direct with us. Be like, girls, it's a symbol for grief. Don't know that you're there yet.
Yeah. I didn't go there. I'm keeping it light. I'm like, no, it's just a scary monster.
Yeah, we couldn't stop talking about it, though, Erin. I'm sorry. Erin's like, let's keep it light. Let's just say it's scary. And then
I'm like, for my benefit only. Like,
I know. And I was like, I can't. This is too deep. Stephanie, who was it? Stephanie and me and somebody else.
I don't remember which one was.
We just kept going deeper and deeper.
Melinda, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I was like,
Anyway.
yeah. They're like, oh, they're feeding it. I'm like, it's a monster
It's now part of them.
that lives in the basement, and it's fine. And we're moving on. It's a monster. Okay. Anyways, you all can go check out our website at myskepticalsister.com to find out how to write in, to find our P.O. box, to look at merch. We've got new t-shirts and hoodies to check out. I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah. Tell updates on that. Anything?
Well, at this point, when they're listening a month in advance,
Ooh.
no, I'm kidding, but like 2 weeks in advance, the sale will be live. So you'll know about it. But if you maybe aren't checking the socials or whatever, and you're just a listener, then just know that on our website, we have a Ghost Podcast shirt that you can get in a shirt or a hoodie. And we have an anchovy butter paste shirt or hoodie. So check it out because they're funny. And you can get the merch directly there. Remember, we're going to ship them all out once all the orders are in. So it's not an immediate thing. But, if you've got a loved one who likes to listen to My Skeptical Sister, it's a great little Christmas present. Get it in advance.
That's right.
You can write us in directly at myskepticalsister@gmail.com. You can follow our socials on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't follow us on TikTok.
Don't do it.
And you can rate, review, subscribe. Tell your friends and family. Tell
Let's
them
do
to
that.
write their stories in. You can go to, if you don't want to sign up for our Patreon, which $3 a month gets you stickers, magnet, and bonus content weekly. You could always sign up for, $5 a month gets you our movie night, including
on
all
in
that other
here.
stuff, which is once a month. And then if you don't want to do that, if that commitment is too much, but you want to support us, you could always go to Buy Me a Coffee and look us up on there. And that'll give us, you can donate a one-time donation. All right. I think I've said it all.
Ellie agrees.
And we love you guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Buenos dias. They might be listening in the morning.
Okay. Yeah.
La 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 la.
I ordered Lumi deodorant on our page so that I could sign up as a new customer.
How you smell?
I haven't gotten it yet. I just ordered it tonight.
I was gonna say. Sorry, that was kind of funny. It was a cheap laugh, but it still got me.
You're such a nerd. She writes her tears and says, "Oh, sorry, I burped." She didn't burp. Sorry. I had a really delicious dinner, but my burps smell so bad, and they're like lingering.
I really thought you were giving me sign language,
Oh.
and I'm like, Erin, it's just you and I,
Gosh.
and you're editing, so you could just like Rue. Sometimes she talks about you in code.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
I
She
could
doesn't.
shoo the smell away
No,
enough.
it must be bad because I always enjoy my own burps.
I mean, it was just gross to think about that, but the food was delicious.
What was it? So sorry, Erin.
You're fine.
So glad it's not Rue. Only because you would love me no matter what.
Yeah. I think
I
Rue
think-
would too.
Oh, I hope. Did bang that mic one time.
I did bang that mic.
Did bang that mic one time, and she's a little put off. Okay, here, hold on. Either time, it's as bright as a car or motorcycle light. Motorcycle. Motorcycle. Like I had like a can of dip in my mouth, like the whole can. Not just the dip, the whole thing.
Unopened.
Motorcycle. Okay, let me try that again and enunciate.
Remember when you said this episode's going to be so short?
Yeah, I know. I'm making up for it, aren't I? And that's my first glass of wine.